Welcome, everybody, to episode 2, Vampire the Masquerade, Dark City. I'm Doug, and I'll be the storyteller for the evening. I would like to introduce the fine cast, starting with Lillith.
I'm Angela, also known as Gangrel Kitty, and tonight I will be playing Lillith.
I'm Ryan, otherwise known as Voice Ryleased. I'll be playing the character of Herkermer Milton.
Hi, I'm Michael, and I'll be playing the character of Hannibal Wagner.
I am Xylus. I will be playing Charlie Allsun.
Let's be vampires. Burdens. We all have them. Whether they be physical, mental, social, whether they come from the outside imposed by somebody else, or from our own natures. We struggle with them through all our lives. Vampires share burdens that are unique to their disposition. The hunger. The beast. That clawing predator inside them that demands that they kill and take the sanguine sustenance within each victim's heart and flesh. That they end lives. That hunger, that beast, causes actions and decisions that create their own burdens, that in turn inflict other people. With that in mind, we rejoin our story of 4 individuals who have recently met, who have found a common cause, at least for the time. And after a night of exchange, they found a common cause going to meet the one who dominates the territory of the east of Dark City, the Red Queen. We now enter our scene in this, our Dark City. The sun rises over a small one-story building. It was at one point a garage or something. Some sort of mechanics automotive dealer, perhaps. Now it is shut down. It is boarded over, windows enclosing the outside world from its interior. Both Charlie and Hannibal arise for the evening. Charlie, you And Hannibal spoke briefly when you both awoken. Hannibal told you that he had some business to take care of and he would be back shortly. To stay here. He then left you alone. You've been sitting maybe for a half an hour or an hour. Before we begin, I would like for you to give me a rouse check for awakening. Gotta get those dice.
Those pesky dice. All right. So what am I using for this rouse check?
You're gonna use a D10. And on a normal die, it's a 6 or above and you'll be fine. On a 5 or below, you will go up 1 hunger level.
Got a 9.
Okay, so you're fine. So you waking up, your thirst for the time being abated. What does that put your hunger level at, by the way?
My hunger was at 1. And
So it remains at
does
1.
this increase it? Or it remains? Okay.
It remains at 1. So you're sitting in a room where you had slept. The prior night, you had barely made it back before dawn. The light was starting to turn blue, almost a golden yellow. The storm is still raging, obviously. Outside, you can hear the rain. You're in a very Spartan sort of building. It has several very plain bedroom or rooms. They're not even really bedrooms. They just have cots in them, and they've been boarded up and shielded to not allow the daylight in. There's a common main area room with just a very simple couch and a table. And that's where you find yourself. Sitting in what served as your bedroom.
I'm going to check the burner cell that Hannibal left.
Okay. Now remind me, did you make any calls or to anybody exterior, like that you would know about this is your new number, or?
No, not yet.
Okay. So you don't see any numbers or anything like that, no messages, no nothing like that. You hear a small rattle from outside in the main area, almost like a squeaking, like a metal squeaking.
I'll go investigate it.
You walk outside into the main area, passing through a very small hallway. On the table is some sort of brochure that wasn't there before. It's like a blue, and it has like some very fancy picture of a bus. Sitting on the other end of the table is a small bird's cage, one of those classic domed ones, and it has a small white bird in it. You don't know. You're not a bird studier, I don't think. Are you? Yeah. So you don't know what kind of bird necessarily off the bat it is. So.
Okay. And these were not here before?
No.
Even before Hannibal left, they weren't here.
You didn't see him leave, but yeah, like they weren't here before when you guys had the conversation out in this room earlier before he left.
So how barren is this place? Can I find normal kitchen utensils in the kitchen?
There's a small sink in a bathroom. There's no kitchen or anything like that. There's a fridge that's been propped up in the corner of the room, off into like a closet sort of area. It doesn't look like it was, obviously there for a fridge. And you see a wire kind of running out into one of the light sockets. There's only one other chamber or room, and that's the garage that you guys entered through, that the car was parked in before Hannibal left. Obviously, it's empty now. Has some old machinery parts and things like that, like, you know, that's been shoved off to the side. Other than that, there's really nothing else in this building per se.
Charlie will look. He'll look around to see if anybody is in the building with him, and once he's sure that nobody else is here, then he'll look in the brochure.
Okay, so you do a circuit. Now, mind you, the lighting is very poor in here. There's only like one single light bulb, really. But you do a thorough inspection. Nobody seems to be in the building, although the shadows seem to be particularly cold. Colder than normal. Yeah, like as soon as you exit the light, because the light has like this very, you know, round circumference. Off in the corners, it's like it seems the shadows seem peculiarly cold, like the insulation there is just not good, or it is raining outside, so maybe it has something to do with the building. You don't know.
Could I use Sense the Unseen?
You sure can. Now, one thing I would like to note is you go ahead and give me your pull. And I will roll for you. This roll I will not be using hunger dice, because it's, you know, I don't want to mess you over because of my roll, right? Just go ahead and give me your pull real quick.
What is that?
For
I don't
Sense the Unseen.
Yeah, I have the book pulled up in the PDF, but it's not responding to me at the moment.
Yeah, no problem.
I am waiting on my dice and book, by the way.
Oh, we're gonna have the super cool dice. That's always good to know. So let's just look this up real quick. For Sense the Unseen, it is Wits Auspex. If you're contesting somebody who is using supernatural hiding, like Obfuscate, then it would be Resolve Auspex.
I have a pool of 3.
Pool of 3. Okay. I'm dropping my dice. That was uncomfortable. Okay. So you scored 3 successes. You look around, and you do see a form in the corner, actually. It is not a figure, like a clear shape, but you see sort of like this inky blotch over in the far corner. Right, and you get the sense of you see like the vague wisp of an aura that is in a figure at the center of the blotch, and you hear a chuckle. Oh, you are very perceptive, Charlie. And the shadows coalesce into a figure, a rather tall woman with fine features and long dark hair that you recognize, wearing a white, very fashionable half jacket, I believe they're called, or waist jacket, you know, the ones that go down, and very fancy pants, like very fashionable pants with a metal ringed belt, like one of those little hoop things, and a very simple turtleneck, actually.
Okay.
You are so perceptive. You continue to impress me.
I appreciate the compliment. I'm not exactly sure why you would hide from me.
Oh, he's... let's say, I just wanted to observe. It's like a parent watching children play. I find fascination in it. Do you like my gift? She gestures to the bird in the cage.
That's a fine bird. Though it would have been less striking and probably more appreciated if I had known. who it was coming from ahead of time.
Oh, I thought of it last second. It is perfect. And she walks forward and she touches the cage and she opens it and she reaches her hand in. The bird, of course, animals are, very frightened normally. You've noticed that dogs shy away from you. The cats hiss. They don't seem to like what you are. They can sense the death almost. So the bird is kind of fluttering around in a very frantic motion, and she, in a very almost faster than the eye can track, snatches the bird and then holds it out. Yes, it made me think of you. I realized in my last message I was not poetic ghouls typing on texting things. Yes, I called you Rabbit. You are not Rabbit. You are my sparrow.
Huh.
Do you like?
Is she handing me the
No,
sparrow? Or?
She kind of just gestures right in front of you, like as in like, presenting it to you, but not giving it necessarily.
Yes.
Ah, good. She puts it back in the cage and locks the cage. You understandably would have questions, yes?
Yes. Are you not one of the tower?
Yes. It is more like day job. And she laughs at that. But just because I'm part of tower does not mean I want to see my rabbit alone. Children need playmates. And you are alone. And it's not every day that I can do the favor for another parent. I figured you two would make good playmates. A rabbit and a sparrow skipping through the trees.
So... sorry, it's been a lot to absorb.
Oh, of
having
course.
to
I know. It's been
pick up
so
and leave.
It's been so hard. Yeah, I have had similar experience. And this is why I help you. I would explain this to Hannibal, but he is so moody, he just gets so caught up in things. But we have moved very far ourselves. When we came to this city, we were hunted and despised. And with this great sacrifice that we had to appeal to His Majesty. Unfortunately, His Majesty would not approve of Hannibal's presence. So you see, he has been left alone. And I would not be a good parent if I did not take care of my children. She, sits up, very dignified, mockingly dignified.
So is it customary for those in the tower to play both sides of the field?
Everybody plays both sides, friend. And those who don't are the ones you should truly fear. Because they are wrapped up in ideas. I have spent an entire unlife around people with ideas about the tower, ideas about vampire existence. Oh, I use the word. Silly me. We call them Canaanites. That is the word. It means something, right? But does it really matter? The only thing that matters is blood. Blood, family, and duty. And sometimes those things mix, and sometimes they don't mix so well. In this case, His Majesty has provided me and the rest of my blood the safe haven. We are his enforcers. We are his boogeymen. But not Hannibal. Poor Hannibal, left alone with his things, photographs and such. He's very moody, a lot of problems. I tried to raise him right, but, you know, things happen.
Why was Hannibal outcast?
Because we were all demanded things. And while I was willing to accept the responsibility of the price that would require entering the tower, I would not have such for my child. No one will ever hurt my children, including a Camarilla prince. But enjoy your gift. I do not know where Hannibal went. He was looking at that brochure about something very strange. You don't have to mention any of this. Just play well and nice with each other, and do take care of each other. You are all you have.
Do you know much about the Red Queen?
Oh, I've heard a little bit, yes. She's very angry. I respect her. Violence, subjugation, terror. That is what she does, known for. I respect those things. She is a girl who knows how to walk.
Can she be reasoned with?
I don't know. Usually the most violent ones can't, but it will be fun seeing if you can. And if she always, you know. Do not mention me, of course. I do not think my name would, or your sire's name for that matter. Although it might come up.
Is there a way that I would be able to increase the likelihood of favor?
I don't know. You enter those situations and anything can happen, especially amongst anarchs. They are very passionate people. Passion can often be your downfall. I'm hungry. Hi. She turns around and she walks out the door. And she opens it up. Standing outside the door is a man. He's fairly middling, tall height. He has very shaven short head, goatee. Looks very serious, wearing a suit. And he nods and he's like, Irina. And she's like, hello. She sidesteps him and walks out. And as he walks in, she pokes her head back before he could shut the door. And it's like, oh, this is friend of Hannibal's. Don't not worry. He's fine. Say hi to him for me. And she pokes her head back out and shuts the door.
I did. Was she talking to me or the guy?
She was just talking inside the room, but yeah, generally in your direction. Oh, you assume it was you. Excuse me.
So is there a dude standing outside still?
No, he entered the room with you, and he just
okay.
Stands and walks. He's carrying a duffel bag, and he looks around, and he's like, "Animal not here?"
No.
Oh. Hi.
Hi.
You probably share some moment of silence because he doesn't seem to be willing, necessarily too talkative.
This is awkward.
Yes. Thinking, I'll just wait.
I'm Charlie.
I know.
All right, Han Solo.
Nice furniture.
Oh, you like it? I didn't pick it out.
Around about that time, short moments later, Hannibal, you come arriving up to the building. There is a garage where you park your car, presumably. And Hannibal comes in, unless he's doing something else out of the ordinary. Hannibal, go ahead and give me a rouse check before you enter the scene, though.
I'm fine.
Okay. What's your hunger at?
2.
Okay. Proceed.
Is it Nikita?
Yes.
Okay. Nikita?
Oh, do you like accommodations?
Yes, they are generally adequate.
I brought that thing for you I borrowed last time. And he takes out some wire cutters, bolt cutters. Dramatic effect. Good idea.
It worked.
Hands them over to you.
Hannibal will take them and set them off with the other tools and things.
He looks.
Nikita, this was the guy inside the building.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, if you need anything, you have my number. Irina was here. I'm not sure what was discussed or what to do, but I'm on standby if you need me.
Yeah, actually, can we go talk privately for a second?
Sure.
Sorry, Charlie, family stuff.
I get it.
He, gestures forward like, lead, where you want to go.
Yeah, Hannibal will walk off to a different room, a ways away.
Mm-hmm. He'll follow.
Wait a second. So Irina came by. I thought she was going to update me on what the plan is here.
As far as I know, sit on that guy.
Sit on.
Yeah, I'm told to make your arrangements here and help you out. She was talking like it was going to be semi-permanent.
Okay. Well, that changes things.
Do you need anything from Anatoly's?
Yeah, I left some things there.
Okay.
Can I go get them myself, or should I avoid that part of town?
If you want to go over that part of town, let me know first. I have ways. There's not as many eyes on the streets anymore since the Nosferatu left.
Sure.
So I have my ways, and I can make sure you can get for a visit or two. No feeding or anything like that, but
it would just be something really quick, kind of in and out.
Yeah.
I don't need to do that tonight, but sometime in the next couple nights.
Sure. Well.
So then I guess I would ask you, Nikita. Does the blood have an expectation of how I should proceed?
If the blood wants something, it's going to ask for it. I think for right now, the intention is for you to dig your well, as I suppose, so to speak, plant your roots somewhere.
I see. So expect that this might be some time.
Yeah.
Establish defenses.
Get comfortable.
Okay.
All right. I got things I gotta do. If I'll drop by some stuff to help you furnish the place and.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I have a thing I'm probably gonna go do later tonight. I could use some more decorations just in case.
Sure.
I'd appreciate that.
Leave them in your trunk.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll just go out this way, and gestures to the garage door, and he walks over and he opens the garage door and he walks out to a van parked across the street. Sometime later you'll hear the garage door close, but he's just basically just getting to work. He's putting some sort of bag or cases in the back of your vehicle.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'll head back into where Charlie is. Have you heard from what was that guy's name? Herkermer? Or Lillith?
Not yet.
They didn't give us a number, did they?
I'm assuming that you guys would have swapped numbers and that kind of stuff, like just as a casual course. Like, oh, here's my number, or whatever your place means to reach if you have a cell phone. Digitally, they can reach you. I'm assuming that.
Sure. Okay. Then with that, I'll send a text. Would Lillith have given Hannibal their number? I'll send a text then to Lillith that says Red Queen ? Tonight.
I'll send a text back. Yeah, where are we meeting?
Your place.
Come on down.
So where'd Tall, Dark, and Handsome go off to?
Oh, Nikita?
Oh, that's his name.
Yeah.
I was going to call him Han Solo.
I mean, that's got more flair. Anyways, Lillith is down to meet the Red Queen tonight if you are.
I was down to meet the Red Queen.
Okay.
Do we have to take care of the obligation?
Oh, you're talking about with Dutch?
Yeah.
I already did that. That's why I left. To be honest with you, I didn't know how you would feel about the way I was going about it, so I figured I'd let you take the night, or at least for a few hours. I know you're still sort of adjusting to the differences, right?
Yeah.
Well, Lilith said we should head over to her place, so whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. I'll pick up that pamphlet that Irena left.
Okay, it says on the front of it, it's a blue pamphlet, and it has like this tour bus with a bunch of people hanging out, like with bottles and like in bikinis and swimwear and things like that. And it says "Party Buses of the World." You see these red marker things, and you realize that there's a marker that's tucked into the pamphlet. A red marker marks. With like a smiley face with fangs, like somebody was just doodling on it. And you're looking inside, there's a bunch of numbers, and you see a couple of them circled.
Are they? What kind of numbers are they?
They're like numbers to get a hold of different distributors, so you can rent a party bus. Presumably, it says, "Oh, rent a party bus for the night." Lots of fans, lots of people, big parties, and the numbers that are circled are basically like these party tour buses where basically people get on, and it's just random people that they call, they find out where the bus is, and then they go, and it's like basically like a dance club on wheels.
Why are you looking at that?
She left it.
Oh, no.
I thought it might have had some. Oh, you left it.
Yeah. That's how
She
I
left.
handled the Dutch obligation.
Okay.
You notice the bird before you leave. You notice the bird flaps down, right, and is nestling at the something at the bottom of the cage, and kicks over some of the sawdust that's at the bottom, and picks up something in his beak, and then flaps back up and is like sitting there trying to balance it in his beak. It seems like a pretty, comparatively to its small beak, you notice that there's a small metallic object of some sort.
I'll reach into the cage and try to grab it.
Okay, so as soon as you reach into the cage, the bird, like horse, flies off in a panic and drops the thing, but you manage to pick it up out, and it's a small pin with a sparrow and a diamond inset, similar to the rabbit one you're wearing.
I'll put it on the other side.
With that, you guys leave? Okay.
Hmm.
Lillith.
Yes.
You went to sleep, as you normally do, into that cold, isolating state of being known as torpor. Let me turn this down just a minute. There you go. You slept. It's more like a void of existence, really, and you awaken, your sensations coming to you. That hunger slowly starts rising as the sun sets. Go ahead and give me a hunger roll first. One die, and you are muted when you're doing that.
One red die.
Yes.
I got a blank.
Okay, so that means you failed. So your hunger goes up one level. So what was your hunger level?
I don't remember.
I show you as from 2 last game. So you
Last game, yes. I was at 2 at last game, yes.
So you go from 2 to 3.
Okay.
Anyway, you wake up and you go upstairs. You see Herkermer has sort of made his home on your couch, and there's some. It looks like the cooking equipment is gone. After doing what consists of a morning routine, although it's not much these days, taking care of yourself. After a short while, Herkermer comes back, popping through the door, and after sitting down for quite some time, you find yourselves falling into a very rapid series of questions concerning vampire nature, coming from Herkermer. Before we begin, Herkermer, if you can give me a hunger roll.
I'm good.
Okay, so that's where we'll enter the scene. Is Herkermer basically, I guess, interrogate? I don't know how you want to go about it, but you're basically just asking a bunch of questions.
All right. So now you know the difference between when you were awake and when you fell asleep.
Yeah.
Can you remember? Do you remember falling asleep?
I don't think.
Okay. So did you dream?
No.
No, you didn't dream. Oh, damn. Well, I suppose that's a good thing for me being me. I still remember my dreams every now and again. So, did you move at all in your sleep? Like tossing, turning,
No.
that kind of thing?
Exactly in the same position I went to sleep in, apparently.
Oh, I think I got something for you. And Doug, I'd like to open up, like go to her fridge, open it up, and show and pull out some of the blood that I had gotten earlier the night before.
Sure, you go.
And put out a couple jars or something.
Okay, so you go over to the if Lilith follows or witnesses later on, what she'll notice in the refrigerator basically is all the spoiled milk and everything that was in there because you don't eat anymore.
Right.
Has been more or less kind of cleared out, and a couple of the racks have been taken out, and there's like duct tape holding bags of some sort of substance, presumably blood. There's jars. They've been kind of stacked on each other and labeled with various, like somebody writes on a piece of paper and then uses scotch tape or, those sorts of things. It looks pretty DIY, I think is a good way to put it,
Yeah, DIY on the cheap. Like, there is one Capri Sun bag that's duct taped up there that has the whole duct tape shut. As always, there has to be a Capri Sun bag.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, all right, well, pulls out a couple jars, slides them across the counter to you. Go ahead and drink up.
Cheers. Can't have coffee anymore. So I'll open the jar. I'll smell it. What is it? What does it smell like? Because Lilith hasn't drank from a jar yet.
It smells like bagged whole blood. It smells like whole. You get the iron scent, the sanguine essence permits. Normally you wouldn't be able to smell blood unless it was like in a large quantities. And even though you may not only have limited heightened senses and things like that as a vampire, you still like now you can key on to it. It's very, you find that hunger, and even without thinking, not in a frenzied way, you find it falling past your lips. It was bagged animal blood, if I recall.
That's right. I asked for animal blood and then some for me. So
it doesn't taste good, quite as good as the human stuff. The fresh sustenance you fed off of Betty was like an exhilaration. You the first time, it's like, yes.
I didn't feed off Betty. I fed off of Herkermer.
Even still, Herkermer. Yeah, Herkermer's was even more so. That's right. Thank you for correcting me. But as you feed off the blood, it's okay. It's like going back to bad pizza. It's still pizza, You do have to consume quite a bit of it to slake one level of hunger, which means that you lower it by 1. Herkermer has provided enough just for Lilith? Did you provide the blood just for Lilith? I don't.
No, I got animal blood specifically for her, and then I got a little bit for me to basically have my morning issue, and enough to work with if the time comes for me to make stuff.
Sure. Okay.
So
you can each slake 1 level of health or 1 level of hunger between you. If you give all that to Lilith, then she'll be able to slake 2, obviously. But that will be most of your supplies without dipping into your cooking materials, as it were.
So if we're at a hunger of 1, can we slake that from a bag?
No. The only way you can remove a hunger of 1 is by drinking somebody dry.
Oh. Well, we're not doing that. So I don't actually need any, because I'm still at hunger 1, and I didn't rouse for rousing this morning.
So Lilith finds herself just drinking the multiple of these jars. It's just a lot of liquid, but it doesn't seem to be. It's like, you you're still feeling the hunger, and you don't feel yourself getting full or anything like that until you have finished several large jars of this stuff, and the refrigerator is now more or less empty, with the exception of a couple of Capri Suns and things like that.
Hungry? You
A little bit.
you feeling better?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
Oh, well, good. Glad I can be of some use. Well, glad I could be of service, at least. So I have a lot of questions,
Hey,
and I'm sure you do as well, but what's it feel like to be you? Like what, like touching stuff. What does it feel like to be you? Because like, I'm only half-blooded. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not a.
I touch things just like you touch things. I don't know. My emotions are more, I don't know, dull.
So is that the main difference between being human?
Go ahead, Doug.
You notice while you're sitting there having a discussion about you touching things, you're subconsciously looking at your body and things like that, trying to form words to communicate to Herkermer the kindred experience. And as you look at your hands, you notice that your hands are rather claw-like. Like the tips are no longer rounded like a human's, that they have this sort of very distinctly, like the finger ends, and there's like these little tiny claws, like nubs almost, that you would see.
I'm gonna start looking at my hand and talking to Herkermer. My hands look different. Look.
Huh, that is a little weird. Like, are they like actual claws, you think?
I don't know. How do we figure? I'm gonna start flexing my hand.
You start flexing your hand and trying to are you like scratching things, or like
Yeah, like how a cat would maybe stretch their claws.
yeah, you're trying to stretch them out, and you're like, practicing the texture and getting a feel for the grip and things like that. Normally they're very much retracted. Like, so you do still have manual dexterity with your fingertips, because they're just very small. But as you flex out, go ahead and give me a rouse check real quick.
How much hunger am I down after the bag?
You're down to 1.
Down to 1, okay. And then what am I rolling?
You're rolling 1 single die.
Okay.
A red
a
die.
rouse check, sorry.
Yeah.
I got the Ankh.
Okay, so you don't incur any. Your hunger does not rise up in level, and you're sitting there flexing, and you start scratching, and you notice the claws get very long, and they grow out to about like that large, and as you basically, because you're kind of trying to apply pressure because they're small nails, and as you're applying pressure, you find yourself cutting through your cutting board that serves as your island in the middle of your small kitchen, and you just cut right straight through it.
Holy.
That's amazing. Oh, do it again.
No, I want to put it away. I'm going to destroy my house. This is my house. I would rather not destroy my house. How the fuck?
Okay.
Wait.
I don't know. How'd you get them to come out?
Well, I stretched my hand like a cat.
All right, maybe they're
spring loaded.
Maybe, or they might be thought loaded.
Thought loaded.
Yeah. think about putting them away.
So I'm gonna try to will my claws back in.
They retract within your hands. As soon as you find it, you can like slowly, just by thinking about it, put them back inside your hand. Now, to remind you that you do technically have discipline slots that are filled that I've decided. So I'm going to give you your second Protean slot is going to be filled with feral weapons. Discipline. Yeah. So around that time, you get a text from Hannibal, and you respond as you responded.
So apparently Hannibal and Charlie are coming over so we can do this Red Queen meeting thing.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
I believe Hannibal had something.
Please
Sorry?
tell me that Lillith is texting with those giant, like, fingernails.
Sure. Yes. Like,
Should be like the ladies at nail salons. They have really large, because they work with nails all day long, so they have really fancy nails. It's like, how do you do that? I don't understand. But anyway, yeah, continue.
Well, good. Maybe we can get all this cleared up, and we can get. I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to be.
well, that's assuming we survive.
Doing.
According to Hannibal, didn't he say something about maybe we won't even live through this?
Well, I don't know about you, but I plan on living through it, even if I got to run.
I'm with you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm down for a scrap, but like if my life is on the line and I know I can't win, no, I'm not. I may not be the smartest bulb in the box, but I'm gonna live.
Maybe. Question, Doug.
Yes.
Did we determine if my character has a gun?
I believe yes. You had a small firearm that you purchased a long time ago when you moved into the neighborhood. When you occupied your parents' residence, that's under your name. It's just a sidearm, really.
Okay. Hang on. I need to actually. Well, do you think we'll be able to arm ourselves and then go there?
I mean, I don't know if. Unless you got like a bazooka or something in there, I'm not sure if whatever you got's gonna do much. But if you feel like bringing it. I got what I need right here.
Well, I'm talking about making a space to run out a door if needing to. I mean, all you got to do is knock down a couple people and then push past the rest, right?
It works.
That's
Of course,
fair.
I don't intend on leaving people to die if the occasion calls for it.
Well, I would hope I wouldn't either.
Well, good. At least we got that in common.
Well, I help people that are violently hurt for a living, so.
Yeah, I used to as well. Used to work at the same hospital.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. What happened?
About 6 months ago or so, I'm on a run doing something with my buddy, and had a hell of a night. Woke up the next night and was different. Couldn't tell exactly what was wrong or what happened. And, well, I was lucky Desmond found me, and he picked me up and he told me what was what. And since then, I've been working with him trying to discover what I got and what I can do.
Interesting.
But well, like I said, I'm newer. I'm new, but I know a little bit, and I can maybe help you. Like, if you eat breakfast in the morning, still continue to do so. It's just now blood instead of bacon and biscuits.
Unfortunate.
But well, I mean, you can still make yourself eat it.
Then you're
I
gonna
think.
throw up. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
I tried.
it don't hurt much though, does it?
It doesn't taste as good coming back up.
True. Very true. Well,
Go ahead, Doug.
So you guys carry on your conversation, just to sort of move the scene forward, to the point where, at some point, Charlie and Hannibal arrive. You hear a knock at the door. After taking whatever precautions you would normally take, they're at your house.
Okay. Go ahead and open the door. Come on in.
Hannibal will walk in.
Charlie will follow. A good evening.
how do?
I don't know. We're vampires. It's nighttime. This is a weird situation to find ourselves in.
Well, y'all are vampires. I'm something else. Or should I use a different word?
Are you more like Blade?
I don't know. I mean, for one thing, I'm not Wesley Snipes. So gonna have to say no on the me being Blade thing. I am not as cool as him.
So, has everyone had breakfast?
I had a lot of breakfast. I like a lot of breakfast.
I had enough.
Are you okay, Charlie? You're in a weird sort of mood.
How does
I
one
mean-
interact with other ones of I've never really been allowed to interact with other kindred.
Oh, I see.
My only real interaction in a gathering of kindred was the one in which I was exiled, so I'm not really sure how to proceed.
Act like a normal human, like a person. That typically is what we're pretending to be, right?
I don't know why I'd pretend to be human around a bunch of you.
Well, I mean, we can talk all day about draining people, but that might get boring.
It's generally good practice. Also, if you dwell too long on what you are, then you slowly start to forget what you were trying to be.
I suppose that makes a lot more sense.
So, before we go, any questions?
Do you have any idea what to expect?
From what I've heard, I expect a potentially murderous ruler in a a sense, who, based on their whim, their notion, their feeling, will make a decision about whether or not they want us in their territory.
So, do you know if we are going to be allowed to be armed?
I don't know if we'll be allowed to, but I plan to be.
Okay. That's all the questions I had.
Hey, Doug. I just wanted to make sure to let you know that the 2 vials of blood that I have for my thin blood alchemy, they are tucked away in the back of the back hem of my pants.
Sure.
Up near my belt line to hide them, so I can pull them out sneakily if I need to.
Okay, and you can carry as much as either to your highest of wits or dexterity, by the way, just as a reminder. So, without breaking them or risking anything.
Okay, well, it means I can have 2, so I have the 2.
Okay. So with that, unless you have any further interactions.
The last thing that Hannibal would say is, are there any dumb questions anybody wants to ask before we go?
Are there things we're not supposed to call her?
Yes. Don't call her a prince.
Got it.
Refer to her in some semblance of deference. So, like, don't say, hey, what's up, dude? But say something to the effect of, like...
Right. Talk fancy.
You don't have to necessarily talk fancy, but I guess a good way to put it is...
Call her ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am or madam or whatever she prefers. If a term is used, like someone introduces her and says, this is the, and they use a specific term, try to use that term that you hear them say. Or if like one of her other subjects, I guess would be the word, say a term and it seems like she approves of it and she's okay with it, try to use that term. Each ruler could have different opinions of things. So, yeah.
Okay. So, you all gather what you're gathering now. Lillith, just to check, Lillith is going armed, yes?
Yes.
Okay, and Hannibal, of course, is going armed. Is anybody else carrying? And Herkermer is carrying his vials of substance, his concoctions. And Charlie, I don't. You didn't. You haven't. You still do have the pistol that was given to you the other night. Do you still have that on your person?
I do, but Charlie definitely doesn't think about it much.
Sure. Okay. So you guys go and leave to go to the meeting place on Madison and 6th.
Hannibal finds... Wait, are we all going to take one car? That's something Hannibal will ask, or are people going in separate cars?
We should probably go in the same car, I guess.
If we're all going in the same car, I'm a really good driver. Just in case something happens.
Is that your way of trying to convince you to let you drive my car?
No, I'm just saying if you're concerned about potential hazards on the road, I'm a very good driver. And I'm offering my services if needed.
Okay. I guess we'll take my car then, and Herkermer can drive. At least there, we'll see.
Much gracias.
So you guys are taking Hannibal's car. Herkermer driving?
Sure. Hannibal will let him drive, but Hannibal will sit in the front passenger side.
Okay. So you guys drive. From Lilith's residence in Old Town, you drive west to the port district, or the port town, port side. Generally the area of town that was hit the hardest in the last 10 years during the great financial collapse that plagued many Americans. Where before there was many businesses, warehouses, port industry, lots of business and commercial business. Now it has become a dilapidated ruin of itself. While those areas that are closest to bridges and thoroughfares are generally occupied, have become more or less dangerous ghettos. The middle strip in between the two large bridges that span the river have become sort of like this husk of a city. You drive through the long streets that are wide, despite the only having 2 lanes. You see large buildings that have been blocked off and condemned. You come down to the edge of the ocean on 6th Street. Down below you, there's a sharp drop where you see the remnants of a train yard and port, those sorts of things. Sitting abreast on a cliff on a large sort of flat concrete sort of viewpoint almost is this large building amidst several abandoned what you assume to be like just normal residence places or something like that. So very, very large 10 or 15 story to 20 story buildings that are surrounding it. You were instructed not to park next to it and to enter.
Yeah, I mentioned that. I say we need to park down a street a ways, way out of sight. So we'll probably have to do a little bit of walking, but it's what they expect.
Okay. You go to park down the street?
Yep.
Okay. You find a place that you park down the street and you see a large strip of basically parking spots that are kind of angled in, so you can just, that kind of slope down a hill. You manage to find a parking spot. Most of the cars in this parking spot, there's on either side of the street, which is very long, mind you. There's about probably total of like 50 spots going all the way down where the building sits at the end of the street. Most of the cars in this spot seem nice, untouched. There's a couple really fancy ones. There's a couple beat ups. There's some bikes, or motorcycles, I should say. There's some trucks, some vans, things like that. But these are vehicles, because you keep in mind that while you're driving through this, most of these abandoned and condemned areas have vehicles outside of them, but their wheels and rims have been removed. They've been put up on blocks. People have quickly scavenged or stolen or defaced because of a prank or whatever, anything. So most of the vehicles that you see generally aren't in this good condition, or don't look normal. This looks, you have a feeling that your car might not be touched by parking here. You guys get out. Walk down to the building, presumably.
I guide them to the no trespassing sign. I was told there would be an entrance of some variety there. Hole in the fence, I think is what Dutch said.
Okay. Are you guys just walking down there? Are you guys doing anything special while you're walking down the hill towards the building?
No, we're walking. I'm taking up the rear. I'll be the last one in.
I'll be right behind Hannibal.
Okay. You guys walk down the hill. Like I said, the building's very large, or tall and large, like long wise. You see a gated fence at the far end, just kind of hunkered out of sight as you guys walk around looking for the no trespassing sign. It is a no trespassing sign, a very large sign that says this building's been condemned, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a hole in the fence that's not like a small hole. It's quite big, enough to fit like 2 or 3 people in at once. And you see a small little stick with a sign out of a back of a road sign, kind of flipped over. It says, welcome, off to the side, stuck in the ground. As you approach through the hole, you see the warehouse has 2 segments. There's a long warehouse and a building. The warehouse doors are slightly cracked open. You see a person sitting out front. As you approach, you feel eyes on you. Hannibal, you could see pretty perceptively into the darkness. You notice that there's several individuals along the building at the far end, and often the buildings that are adjacent to you that are peering out, doing very well to keep hidden, and pointing those out. Also, Charlie, having some experience in observing these sorts of situations. You do notice these individuals too with your unnatural senses. You come walking up to the individual. It's just a middling height male, bald. He's got tattoos that go all over him. No shirt. One of those tough motorcycle club looking types. He's got a gun sitting in his jeans, and he just looks at you. As you guys approach, he's like, "You here for a reason?" He speaks to...
We're here to meet the boss.
Heard we have visitors. You can keep your weapons. I know you got them. Don't use them in here.
Of course.
Welcome to the party. He gestures inside. Between
walk by.
The warehouse is empty. You see the building at the far end where it meets. There's another set of larger doors, like warehouse doors, enough to get like a small truck through. You guys walk through the warehouse. Again, you feel eyes up top. This time, though they're not remaining too hidden, you see individuals along scaffolding, peering out of windows. You don't know whether or not they're armed. No, they're not visibly like carrying rifles or anything like that. They're just walking along, but they definitely are observing you. And you get a sense of, that they are security of some sort. You walk up to the double doors, and you see the doors are, the sliding door from the door leading into the building is open. Inside, you see several barrel fires that have been laid out into a wide open space with only pillars. There's some couches and things like that have been kind of gathered in the far ends of this large room. The rain is kind of dripping down through the holes in the roof and through the multiple floors that have kind of been caved out because of ruin and age. You see many kindred here, or many individuals. You get a sense, especially Lillith, you using your natural senses now that to kind of you can sense other kindred now. You definitely get a stark sense of the individuals in this room. They're deathly pallor. They're cold faces. There's 5 rough groups as you observe and enter the room, standing in different areas. You have one large group up at the top on the second story that's kind of hanging over a railing and things like that. They seem to be more or less having a party amongst themselves, you know what I mean? Like doing something up there. There's like some loud noise coming from a radio or something like that upstairs. You see individuals over cornered next on the right-hand side that all look roughly in normal clothing, normal attire, working clothes. Some people were still wearing uniforms and such. From whatever business they may be coming from. Some people are wearing overalls from harder labor jobs, that sort of stuff. Sitting over in the barrel corner off to the right. And then you see a really large group of people who are finely dressed. And they kind of, there's an area of the place that's kind of like been cleaned prior. There's much more lighting up there. There's like, you know, they've hung lights, so it's more well lit. Hannibal, you kind of innately kind of have a hard time looking through there, but you can, of course. These individuals are wearing cocktail dresses and suits and those sorts of things. You look over off to your immediate right on the far corner on the door side, and there's several there's an eclectic version of individuals that don't really seem to be standing in place, but they're kind of in the general area. They kind of are wandering back and forth between the different groups. They're, you know, wearing street clothes and biker jackets and leather, and, you know, they look like basically what you would find at like a roadhouse or something like that, you know. The last group, let me see. I just got to remember. Did a lot of work this week. We covered that. Oh, yeah. And then there's several individuals milling about, going from one. They're wearing very. They seem to be wearing all white, with gold embroidery. They're not as many. There's only about like 10 of these individuals. They seem to be more or less coalesced around a figure. That is bald, he's got a West Asian complexion, from, you know, India or that general area, and they're kind of wandering back and forth and then coming back, and, you know, they seem to be, out of all the groups, they seem to be wandering amongst the other groups. The other groups are kind of more or less just kind of eyeballing each other. You come and stand to the first barrel fire in the center of the room, and Charlie, you, for a brief moment, you kind of get a familiar sensation as you feel eyes on you, and you feel the distance between you and these other people as they avoid you. You've been here before. You know exactly what's going on. They're watching you. You're being put on show. And there you sit in a more well-lit circumference of a barrel fire, keeping distance, of course, because the beast doesn't like fire these days. Feeling eyes upon you. Feeling individuals lurking at you. You see a young, in years, looking person, male, come up, walking up. He has a little baseball cap. He's got a white shirt, and he's got like one of those, just a denim jacket, and he's got a hoodie over. He's like, "Hey." Looks at Charlie, because Charlie being the first one to speak. Are you the new guys?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, there's 4 of you. I thought they only said there was gonna be 1, maybe 2. I'm Rowdy. How you doing?
I'm Lillith.
So
doing all right.
I'm kind of like the guy at Walmart, you know, like when you walk in, they tell you what direction the store is supposed to be, or say hi, give you a pamphlet or something like that, or a little sticker.
Got any tips for surviving?
Oh well, yeah. You might want to be careful who you talk to around here. You see, nobody has been told not to talk to you, but like, if you go and talk to somebody, then other people are gonna like, get conclusions and things like that. They'll think that you're friends or something, or it could be kind of dangerous too.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, thanks.
So, you guys new in the city? What's going on? What do you want to know?
How about everything?
Yeah, let's start with everything.
Oh, and you see for a second that Rowdy looks directly at your hand. Oh, hey! And he holds up his own, and you see a similar brand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're a DB too, huh?
A DB?
Dustborn. Don't worry about it.
Oh. Oh, well, never heard him called that.
Well, you're gonna hear us called a lot of things you haven't heard before, but don't worry. You don't have to worry about anything, though. We're tolerated. Nobody really likes us much, and you're not gonna find many of us here. We don't usually come to gatherings and stuff like that, but I do the service I represent. It's okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, I heard it was just a good idea to come and introduce myself.
Oh yeah.
Considering I've been this way for about 6 weeks, and ain't been made no introduction to nobody except some jackasses from the tower.
Well, yeah, the guys from the tower fucking suck. They don't even like. I don't even go. I used to, before I became this way, I used to have a great burger joint I like to go to. Can't go there anymore. That's how I got this. It's fucking bullshit.
I agree.
So yeah, but they probably.
What does that have to do with the burger joint?
Oh, they picked me up. I was trying to get a burger, and the I guess the tower, right? Tower picked me up, and they fucking gave me this, and they told me to get the fuck out. They said if they saw me again, they'd kill me.
Think of the tower as an exclusive club, Lillith, and they don't look kindly on friends like ours.
I see. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they don't treat us nice here either, but I'd rather get shit on than killed, you know what I mean? And they probably noticed that you were around. They just didn't pick you up because, well, they were probably waiting for the say-so. People move carefully because, some people get attitudes when you walk in the wrong place or something.
Didn't they say that the tower is only on the east side of the river, or was it the west side of the river?
It's the west side. What? Out of character. It's the west side of the river. That's where he said. So yeah, you guys are here. It's good. Yeah, rumor has it told us we expect. I didn't expect 4 people though. I mean, that's rumor, right? People never get shit straight. I guess you just basically wait here. If you want to talk to somebody, or something like that, I could probably ask them. If they come over to you, then talk to them. That doesn't mean much. That's just people fishing. They'll be looking at the guy who's talking to you, not you.
So you're saying otherwise we should just stay here and wait?
Oh yeah, I mean, like somebody will probably approach, because not everybody's in the know, and some people have questions, and we heard it was which one of you is Charlie?
That's me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, don't worry. I mean, there's other people who are ex-tower here too. I mean, like a lot of them crossed over when the big revolt happened a couple years ago. So there's some folks here who will probably be looking for an ally. I mean, after all, I don't know, but from what I understand, who your sire is, who I think she is, a lot of people might want that connection.
What did they cross over to?
East side. Oh, are you not like coming from the tower too?
No.
She's a fresh embrace that Charlie found on his way here.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Newbie doesn't. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So, like, I feel weird explaining. This is so weird. Like, I get to explain something to somebody, especially thick blood. That's crazy. Yeah. So, basically there's two camps, there's two sides, right? There's the west side and the east side. The west side is the tower, right? And they're all the big huckety schmucks in their, you know, penthouses and shit that tell people what to do and, you know, want to organize the world and stuff like that. I'm sure, like, you know, I don't want to say too much because I'm sure your friend here will probably tell you more, but you know, then there's this side of the river, and we're kind of like, well, it used to be really, you know, like a cause, like, you know, we used to be like old, like rabble rousers and, you know, damn the man and you know, kind of like the Marxists or whatever, you know, like uprising and want freedom and stuff like that, you know. But now we're more or less everybody else, because, you know, hunters, more or less, you know, people who hunt us. But so yeah, we're called, they call us the Unbound or the Anarchs or you know, there's a fancy word for it that begins with an A, but I mean too many A names, you know. But yeah, so like, you know, our side basically carved out this territory from the west, from the tower. It used to be tower territory, and then, you know, there's this lady Mason. This is before my time, but like about 12 years. This lady Mason basically like got tired of getting kicked around and you know, got people together and fought back. So, you know, that's kind of where, I mean, so we were able to claim a lot of stuff, but, you know, these days it's nothing much has happened. I mean, you know, then, you know, humans got savvy and start tracking us on the phones and shit, you know. So now we just mostly like have been, you know, here. You still get people crossing over back and forth. It's not like you know, like if they come over, we'll shoot them or something like that. Actually, the queen doesn't like, you know, people shooting or just starting shit just to start shit. But you know, like,
So the humans being able to track us with the cell phones, should we be taking some precautions with those then?
oh, you're in a cell phone jammer here. So
Oh, okay. I'll pull out my phone and look at it.
yeah, you get no service.
That's why I largely use burner phones.
That's smart. I mean, there's people around here in the know who can hook you up, you know, with some more secure stuff and stuff like that. If you trust them, it depends. You know, mostly, you know, except where we don't hold gathering. We hold this one every once in a while, you know, just to take care of business, and meet and talk. Most people here don't like really like talking to each other on a common basis or coming and gathering too much. But yeah, like it's one of those things. Like, you know, like we allowed you guys got guns, right? You know, you look like you. He looks, points to Hannibal. He's like, you look like you have a fucking gun. We let people come in armed and shit, because, you know, I mean, if we get attacked, then we want to fight back, right? You know, but largely it's spoken. So everybody's kind of on their own when it comes to that kind of stuff. Queen tries to enforce protections, you know, but getting people to listen is, you know, is what it is.
So your work is PAX then?
Well, generally most people organize around, you know, gangs or packs, or packs is not a word that we use too much though. That's too much like the fucking, you know, boogeyman guys, the Black Sabbath or whatever they're called. Yeah,
I mean gangs
or coteries. It depends. You know, some people are really for the cause, like, and, you know, all about being an anarchist and overthrowing the system and shit like that. you'll find some of those guys, those guys over there, and points to the guys who were scattered and wearing the biker clothing and very, street clothing, sort of in the corner that weren't necessarily hanging out in one place. Yeah, those guys over there, they're all about the cause and shit. We call them revolutionaries because they're all like, up in, it's like fucking Castro, Cuba type shit, revolution. They wear Che Guevara shirts and shit like that too. It's complete, cliche. But some people are like that, and other people are just more or less here for the protection. That's the reason why we, Anarch, Unbound, it's kind of a big pot these days. The only thing anybody agrees on, more or less, is that they don't want to piss off the queen. So they follow her rules.
Yeah. What was your name again?
Rowdy.
Rowdy. I'm Hannibal.
How you doing? And he shakes your hand, like, very honestly.
Hannibal will shake his hand as well.
Oh, she's probably gonna be here soon. So, yeah, if you guys want to hook up afterwards and ask him more questions, that's what I'm here for, because basically nobody gives a shit who I talk to, because I ain't nobody, so.
I think Herkermer would probably appreciate having a conversation with you. He's pretty new as well.
Oh, yeah, dude, we got to get hooked up with some of the others. There's, there's quite a few, quite a few is kind of a weird term to use, but yeah, there's others like us here, and, we'll swap numbers or something. Definitely.
Yeah, I'll here's mine, and gives him a business card that has the name like markered out and has a phone number written on the back. Like, if you need to get a hold of me, you can call me on that one.
Okay. Yeah, well, totally. And just by the way, just one more time, people are probably going to shit on you a little bit here, right? But they're not going to do anything because like I said, the queen says we're tolerated, so that's goes. Unless there's a reason, they're not going to do anything. Just,
All right.
She turns around, or he turns around and walks off as you hear. You don't see the source. You don't know where it's coming from, but you hear a roar of motorcycles. It almost feels like it's emanating from the earth itself. And then out of the back, a door opens, a large iron door swings open, and from stairways below, several individuals enter, including one that is most definitely the Red Queen. And we're going to go to break. The iron door swings open. Emerging from it, underneath below, several individuals wearing biker jackets, jeans. They have a very street tough look about them. You see a figure emerge wearing a inspector's coat and a crumpled white shirt and a black tie that's kind of crooked, looking very paranoid at other individuals in the room, and as he scurries off into the corner. And last, you see a woman emerge. 5.5 feet, dark skin. The sides of her head shaven, leaving a stark dyed white bang to fall along her side of her face, which is adorned with piercings. She's wearing ripped jeans, motorcycle boots, a shirt that says, "I owe none." written presumably by a marker, but maybe something else. And a red spray painted, a black jacket that was spray painted red. With, on the back, a patch. The Queen of Hearts. The arms cut off and repositioned as though they were in the position of a suicide jack. She walks up with a decided, dedicated pace, with a slight limp that reminds you of a freight train about ready to go off the rails. Her eyes scan the room with a cold stare that goes right through you. As she sweeps the gaze across the room and up above. She enters the center of the room, not too far from you, and turns her head upwards and regards the rest of the crowd so everybody can hear. There's a moment of silence as she's considering her words, it seems. And then she speaks with a voice that is brimming with rage, being barely kept under control. One of you motherfuckers has pissed me off. Apparently, somebody's been throwing parties around here. Private parties on somebody else's patch. And she looks around. I don't like getting involved in turf wars. But when 3 teeny boppers go missing, it has to become my fucking business now, doesn't it? Luckily, I found the person who was throwing the parties. That's not my question. My question is which one of you assholes put him up to it? Joker. Bring that piece of shit in. See one of the larger gentlemen wearing motorcycle jacket. Guy looks like he was cut in the hardest places and lived. Comes pulling over. Slender man wearing a, like a rave outfit, like a shirt that like glitters, and he has like dull glow sticks that have died, they're no longer glowing because they've died out. He's wearing, glitter and makeup, and he throws him to the ground. And she looks over at him. Banks, Banks, Banks. You're all gonna get punished. I just want to know one thing. And she reaches out and grabs him by the side of the head. Who put you up to it? Banks, in a voice very obviously scared. It was just me, man. It was just a thing. I had a party, I had places, I could do it. I would have gotten permission, but it was like a thing. I don't give a shit. You sack of filth. Now tell me who put you up to it, or so God, I'm gonna squeeze my hand so hard that your decreed brain matter will gush through my fingers like mud through my fucking toes. He gasps, he stutters. I can't, it was me. And there's a moment that she looks at him in the eyes. And you could swear that she considers it, more than consider it, she would almost revel in it. And she pushes him away. And she looks up above her to a man who's dressed in kind of a party shirt, black party shirt with a gold chain around him, surrounded by the rest of the individuals who were partying to some sort of music. Krieg, it was your patch. I think, bitch boy. Yeah. I don't feel like killing this piece of filth. You have a bitch boy now. And she grabs him and she lifts him up with a strength that cannot possibly come from her small or short stature. And this little bitch boy's gonna squeal. You have 3 months to bring me the name. Until then, you're Krieg's little bitch boy. And she throws him down. Get this piece of shit out of my sight. Several individuals drag him off. And she's turning away from you now. And she cocks her head in your direction. I hear we have some newcomers. And she turns to slowly regard you. First walking up to Charlie. She slowly limps. And she looks you up and down. What's your name?
My name's Charlie.
You're the one I heard about. Helen Hargrave's child. A lot of motherfuckers in here who would spill your fucking blood on this floor if it wasn't for my say-so. She's got a lot of enemies in this room. And you got a lot of balls for coming in here. What brings you here, Charlie?
The tower has decided that they will not allow me to be one of them.
Tower. How is Prince Charles Graves these days?
As much an asshole as he always ever was.
Does he even meet his subjects anymore? Or does he just spit on them from on high?
He's got a pedestal.
I see. So little Charlie has come to the east side. I was wondering why Helen was visiting the hospital so much. She must have been paying a lot. Not, have me notified. I have a lot of eyes and ears. I didn't find about it till afterwards. Quite frequently, even. A lot of debts, apparently. Who's your friend? She looks over at Hannibal.
Well, that would be Hannibal.
She saunters over to size you up. What you got to say for yourself, Hannibal? Nice name, by the way.
Thank you. I'm new in town. Charlie's an old friend. He said he was mixed up in a little bit of trouble, so I figured I would offer him a helping hand.
I would say.
Charlie also found these two. Thought it was best to bring them to you, it being your territory.
Huh. And so you were just paying me respects? Is that what I understand? Or are you asking for something, Hannibal?
I'm simply paying my respects.
I see.
This is your land. I'm simply a guest here.
I see, that's where it's wrong. This isn't my land. I'm just the motherfucker who keeps all these other assholes in line. But you're right to pay me respect. I like respect. Respect is earned. She looks over at Herkermer. She walks up to him. And she looks at you for a second. And she looks you up and down. And she definitely, her eyes definitely linger over the brand on your hand. And then she looks you up. And she looks over your jacket. And her eyes rest over the patch on your left lapel. Or on your left breast. Nice, jacket.
Why, thank you. A friend of mine gave it to me.
It's a good friend. What's your name?
My name? Herkermer Milton. Pleasure to meet you. And extends his hand out.
And she looks at it like she's looking at like an alien thing. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Haley? Is like...
Hannibal will very gently just put his hand out as Herkermer raises his and brings the hand back down to Herkermer's side.
What?
It's not how things are done.
Well, we're trying to be friendly. I'm just trying to be friendly.
That's good. I don't, well, a lot of people around here don't like half-bakes, but I tolerate them. We are all fucking killers. So why should we all just get along, right?
I mean, that's a good way to look at it. I'd say I have some pretty unique, useful talents, but that's just me.
Let's see about that.
Yeah.
She turns and she walks over, or sidesteps over to Lillith. And you, what's your story?
I don't have one.
Waiting.
Somebody bit me, and here I am.
You newbie?
Yeah, about 2-3 weeks now.
She looks down at your hands. She looks up at you. And she glances over into the crowd. And you notice a man wearing something like a cowboy hat.
Mm-hmm.
Denim jacket. He's got a white shirt, jeans. He's got like that beard. When Charlie and Hannibal look over, they notice the figure and they recognize him as Dutch.
Oh, okay. I was actually just about to ask that, so yeah, thank you for clarifying.
She gives him a puzzling look. And then she looks back at you. It's like, okay. Newbies. Thin bloods. Strangers. And power. Oh my. Well. I'm going to give you a chance, people. I heard a couple things. And we're going to go ahead and have a talk. But, and she looks back at the guy in the white and the investigator's coat and overcoat and the white shirt and the black ties. Books. What was Cole's last tithe? And the guy comes forward and he's like, yeah, it was, Cole hasn't paid. No. He hasn't paid him about half a year. I think it gave yeah, two full ones, two dolls. I think was the last one worth 18 pints. Not much. I mean, it's a hospital, right? You figured more blood and everything like that hurt people. And stuff. Huh. Okay. So here are the rules. So everybody here knows that you know. So there's no fucking excuses. Rule 1. Don't breach the fucking masquerade. And I don't want ifs, ands, or buts or anything like that. That's on you. 2. Respect the patch. Once you're given a patch, other people are expected to respect it. Don't openly piss on them. Don't go and fuck with somebody else's patch. Don't start shit that I have to stop. I don't give a fuck what you do on your patch as long as you pay the tithe. And the tithe goes to everybody. See, when you fuck me, you're fucking everybody in this room. 3. And this seems to be the hardest one that people get through their fucking mind is don't piss me the fuck off. Or I will burn you. And I will burn the neighborhood that you're around. I will make it to where you're nothing more than a fucking shit in the wind by the time people get around to remembering you. Other than that, you do you. Every once in a while, I might ask for your help, or somebody else here might ask for your help. It's generally expected that you would help them, but you don't have to. You can live your own lives as long as you don't piss in my corner, or anybody else's for that matter. So, now that that's out of the way, and she looks up at the rest of you. These motherfuckers are going to take out Cole's crew because they haven't paid their tithe. Once they have done such to my satisfaction, then they will get Cole's patch. Are we understood? I know all you assholes are eyeballing the hospital. But you will wait and starve. Or face me. So, let's go have that talk, shall we? And she walks off. With an obvious expectation that you would follow, it seems.
I'll follow right after her.
Yeah.
Definitely following behind.
She goes into a side room, exiting the main chamber. You notice that while on your way out, you notice that the figure of Banks is now standing next to the individual known as Krieg, the guy with the black party shirt and the silver vest. He has a very cut features, blonde, pale skin, kind of buff look as though he might work out, standing with the party goers. And she walks into, as you exit the site of Krieg and the others in the gathering, you walk into a small room where there's concrete steps leading up. It's obviously a stairwell, and she goes up about 3 stories until there's basically comes to a room with a table set up. There's a lantern, like one of those little electric lanterns hanging from the roof, and it's overlooking the stormy skies falling into the sea as the river opens up, and it's pretty actually spectacular view of the city. I'm sitting between the two large bridges that dominate the landscape. The rain is kind of hasn't died down, but the wind has died down some. So but it's still kind of very drafty and cold in this room. And she pulls up a chair. You see several of the individuals who had followed her, with biker jackets and things like that, went over and pulled out chairs for you guys to sit. And she sits down. If she just pulls it around table. And you also notice entering them last, the individual in the cowboy hat, Dutch. Just comes, not walking with you, but just walking behind you. Almost like he doesn't need permission. And he goes and stands in the corner.
Lillith is going to go ahead and take a seat.
I'll do the same.
Same.
Yep.
So what was the situation at the hospital? I heard about it.
So for a bit of backstory, there was an incident in a car that crashed, and there was a woman that had been attacked. The attacker was passed out at the scene and was brought into the hospital along with the lady who got attacked.
He was in torpor.
He was in torpor. So then there was a scuffle in the elevators, and when the elevators opened, there was a woman who had been disemboweled, flayed open, and he was attempting to come after the same woman who he attacked at the scene, and he wouldn't back down.
Okay. So now, from what I understand, I don't hear any ruckus coming from that place. So it looks like I'm assuming that you cleaned up after your mess.
Yeah.
Why was he attacking this woman? Do you know? Does anybody know? And she looks at Hannibal, Charlie.
Herkermer said the lady was his sister.
She shoots her gaze over at Herkermer.
Not really her sister. Not really her brother. That was to keep an eye on her in the hospital. So
how do you know her?
I was making a delivery, and she happened to be one of the deliveries.
Delivery?
Yeah, well, I work for a group that from time to time takes blood dolls, bags from place to place.
Gotcha.
And this happened to be a delivery that went bad.
Be careful about who you advertise that to.
Well, I figured telling you would be okay.
Yeah, I know that people are operating in my city, delivering blood. I don't ask where it comes from because nobody seems to be missing anybody from their patches. But I'm sure a lot of people would like to poach a half-baked like you. So
only people that wanted to poach me was a bunch of folks that came up in a van and said some guy named Prince said I needed this on my hand.
Yeah. And that's how you met her? Looks over at Lilith.
No, I met her while the car was escaping. I got in the back of the ambulance with Betty.
I'm a paramedic.
I used to be an EMT, so.
You want a fucking medal?
So I was in the ambulance.
They met at the accident and then came back to the hospital together, engaged in conversation, and realized they were both kindred.
Gotcha.
Yeah, try to catch up.
And you say that you don't know who made you. So you just been running around the city fucking ignorant.
No, I've been working.
And you hear from behind you a southern accent pipe up. I think she's Barada's kid. I heard rumors that he took one. Didn't know who. Huh. Well. Okay, so here's the deal. Cole hasn't paid his dues. And from what I understand, he hasn't been around. No hide, no hair. So I'm going to give his patch to you. Bring me the body. Torpor. Right?
Are you talking about the hospital thing?
Yes.
No, I had a character. I can't remember if we asked him.
No, we didn't. He was torpored.
Bring me
Wait,
his... It was uncertain whether or not he was. You assume that he had met final death because of decomposition, because his body kept on kind of decomposing, but didn't completely dissolve, and then as soon as it stopped, he may have been in torpor. So it's still kind of a debate whether or not he's in torpor to you. Do you understand? It's like at first you assumed that he was entering final death, and then as soon as whatever the process was that happened stopped, then you're like, well, maybe he's in torpor. I don't know.
Is the person that caused the problem in the hospital, is that Cole?
No.
Oh.
But I would probably check out the area around there. Last I heard, he was operating a front construction company. Portview Construction, something like that. You might want to start there. The question is what you intend to do should you run Cole out of the territory or do whatever you want with him. I don't really give a shit. But once Cole is not there to challenge the claim, what do you intend to do with your patch, Mr. Charlie? I'm assuming, being the Ventrue, you would probably want to take over or something like that. There's other Ventrue here too, by the way. They'll probably be hooking themselves up to you. Always like a Ventrue to take control.
Well, we have some things we've been working on. Some things that could possibly benefit our new situation.
I see. And are you intending on helping benefit all of our situations? Or just keep
Long term, it could. Short term, probably just those that need to.
How much is the tithe and how often is it?
9 pints a month. Now for one feeding, you can supply that in animal, human, bagged, live, doesn't matter. And I take that and I distribute it to whoever I think deserves it.
Is that 9 pints per person or per patch?
You pay me 9 pints a month. Not hard. But feeding, you might want to be careful with. A lot of folks here don't gather at racks anymore or anything like that. Feeding areas. She gestures to Lillith as though explaining. We used to have common feeding grounds. Now well, everybody's scared these days. People go missing every once in a while. No big concerns. But I would suggest you dig a well and you protect it. And you make it hard to find. Especially working in a public place like a hospital.
Slab at the morgue. If he is code blue, is that still going to be good?
I'm mostly concerned with finding out who he is, who he was, why he was deciding to frenzy in the middle of a fucking hospital.
All right.
You guys got any questions for me?
As long as we keep you happy.
What area is Cole's patch?
Area around the hospital. The hospital, the medical complex, about 9 blocks around the medical complex. Books. You see the guy walk forward. Tie again. Hand him a patch. And he takes out a little book. It's like a notepad book, you know, frayed at the end. And he sits there and he's like, I got an idea. And he takes that pen. And he seems to be drawing something. And he gestures to the large man referred to as Joker. Something like that. He's like, okay. Walks over into the other room, comes back with a small piece of rebar. And you see him like, and he kind of like bends it around, right? And does like the sort of contortionist trick you might see at a kid's party with a balloon type of thing to a piece of rebar in his hands. And he just tosses it down. It's like a little thing and it has a symbol on it. I haven't drawn one, so I'll, that's your patch. You put that on any building. You guys. She looks at Charlie. No one taught you how to mark, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Put that anywhere it was, but only until you've confirmed Cole isn't sticking around. Like I said, do whatever you want with him. I don't give a shit, as long as it's not breaching the Masquerade or public enough for other kindred to see. But it's your patch as far as I'm concerned. You pay me the tithe. Every once in a while you do what I say. And try not to start too much shit. So last second, anything else you want to know before I tell you to fuck off?
What's the best way to get in contact with you, whether or not the job is done?
Good question. She she takes the book's, notepad and tears off a piece of paper. Here's a burner I use. You'll leave a message. I'll call you back.
Charlie will take one of the cards that he has, scribble off the number that's on there, and write the burner number. If you need us for anything, that's how to contact us.
Sure. And she grabs it. Well, I gotta go deal with fucking Krieg. Don't become an asshole like him. And he'll come to you. A lot of people are gonna come to you. Some are on my good side, some are on my bad. I suggest you try to find out which ones are, which ones aren't. But Krieg, I see you hanging around with him, I might not be happy. And she gets up. And she walks out. All the individuals, she walks off into another room. And you see the gentleman known as Books come walking down the stairs. Your room you're in is empty, except for Dutch, who's still sitting there leaning up against the wall. What do?
Look over at Dutch. Did that go about as good as it possibly could have gone?
Better than I've seen most.
I'll take it then.
She's interested in you. She doesn't normally get that inquisitive.
I really don't know what's so interesting, but
I don't know.
I am anxious to find out.
So I just have one question. For you, Lillith. Did you see your sire?
Yeah, he comes around every so often.
See, sort of looks like he's from Egypt or somewhere in Mediterranean, maybe Middle Eastern complexion.
Does he?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, you're Barada's kid. Say hi to him.
What's his name?
Barada. He hasn't been around much. Used to be a real firebrand. Yeah. Too bad. Didn't know, I only heard recently that he might have taken a kid. He's not teaching her much, is he?
Not really, no.
Any questions? Drop by my bar. They know where it is.
Okay.
We're clans, so, stick together.
I sure appreciate it.
What clan is that?
Gangrel.
Yeah.
What's a gangrel? I've only heard like two names, and it was Ventru and Toreador,
Oh,
and that's it. I
I'm not
didn't even know who they are.
It ain't my business to cover all that for you, but maybe you can ask Lilith after she asks me. But I ain't gonna do that here. I ain't. That's the reason why I never embraced. Gangrel, though. While you're asking, we're a little bit more home with our wild side. Let's just put it that way. Tough gig, though. I figured I always took Barada as the sort to drag and drop. Well,
Is that normal or?
yeah, unfortunately. It's kind of a survival thing.
Gotcha.
I'll talk to you later. Good luck and thanks for the... Don't worry, nobody got hurt or anything.
It's good to hear, but I hope you have fun.
Oh yeah, kept the bar busy. It's always, like I said, it's always slow during these rainy nights. Drank my fill and decided to come watch the show. You know? It's been a long time since I've seen the Red Queen this interested, though. Yeah. Anyway.
You figure her interest in us is a good thing or a bad thing?
Could be good, could be bad. I don't know. These days, she's hard to gauge. She used to be, well, and he looks like, you know, back, kind of checking the room, you know, to see if I might be overhearing. She used to be different. A lot different. These days, she's, well, it's the burden of power, I suppose. Anyway, I'm gonna go. She was right about Krieg, though. Just so you know. Stay away from that guy. He's not good news. Takes and walks off. You're left in the room, presumably alone.
We might probably want to leave here.
I'm thinking that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
So I'll get up and walk out.
As you guys walk out, most of the people are in their general areas. You notice one individual as you're walking out, a suited individual with dark skin, very, very clean cropped hair and some rimmed glasses. As you're walking out, approaches the bottom of the stairs where you're walking out, and excuse me, Mr. Allsun. Just one word for a brief moment. You don't have to come up. I understand how intimidating these gatherings can be, especially for one who's new. Was a friend of your sire's. My name is Victor Ash. I'm not a leader, but I'm more or less the one, a local person who takes responsibility over the clan and the other.
Have I ever heard of Victor Ash?
No, you have not. I represent several of the individuals and groups within the city that came over several years back from the Camarilla. If you ever want to talk or anything like that, please get a hold of me. Here's my business card. I look forward to having a conversation with you.
Very well. Thank you.
And turns and walks out, and then leaving you to your exit. So you guys leave, right?
I will touch base with Rowdy before we leave.
Oh, hey. You guys. Oh, that was pretty tense, huh? Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't reserve bitch boy for anything. That's gonna be fun to watch. Sorry, it's like a thick blood thing, you know what I mean? Like, no offense. What? You guys off? You guys go? You guys not going, are you? Party's just starting.
What kind of party?
Oh, well, I don't know what they do. They mostly sit there and hang out and talk and stuff like that. I guess they do deals, but I always said these things alone. So, I mean, we can hang, right?
That's up to the rest of them.
Oh,
I think Herkermer would appreciate you hanging out.
yeah, sure.
He's got a lot of questions you could probably answer.
Oh yeah. I'm full of answers.
Well, that's good. I'm full of questions.
Cool. Do you want me to meet you someplace? You guys took your own ride here, I guess, but I got my bicycle. It's up the block, fuel efficient.
Right.
Like a bicycle with. You pedal?
Yeah. I used to be one of those speed rate. Like those people who go long distance biking. Like
With the helmet and the whole thing.
Oh yeah. I wanted to be one. It was pretty fun. Pretty fun. I just still want to keep in practice just in case things ever change and I mean, I've been building up my stamina too. It's like pretty good. I'm gonna probably go around the world. Okay, I'll meet you guys. Where am I meeting you?
We have to run a couple of errands before the night gives out. We'll probably come back this way, I would presume.
Sure, yeah. There's a coffee shop up the road. That's pretty far. Nope, there's not really any businesses in Bartown, but as far as I know, nobody claims it. So it's mostly truckers and things like that. People getting off the road and not being able to find their way back on, that kind of thing. But it's real empty, especially this time of night.
Sure, yeah. We can meet you there in a bit.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Yeah. I'll see you. Bye. Turns around. What?
Herkermer, did you exchange information with that gentleman?
One second. Yes, I will go catch him and exchange numbers.
Oh yeah, he's like, and he enters his phone number into your phone, and then turns around and runs off all excited. Several people in the room shoot him like looks of disgust, and they're actually like shooting you pretty repugnant gazes as well, Herkermer. But more or less, they seem to be off in their own corners, like just.
And when I do catch the disgusted look, I make sure to give him like a tip of the hat kind of gesture.
Okay.
Just
yeah. Okay. So where are you off to now?
So as we're getting back to the car, I'm like, I don't know enough about hospitals to know how we get that body out of the morgue. Any ideas?
Making it overflow paperwork, maybe. I don't know. I work there, but I don't think I have any kind of clearance to move a body from the morgue. I could probably end up getting it into an ambulance.
Are you a driver?
Are
you a driver?
I'm a driver.
I could create the overflow paperwork and transfer the body.
All right, if you can do that, I can drive it out.
So you guys got that then?
So Charlie's gonna create overflow paperwork that the body needs to be transported outside of the hospital, or even that the body has been released to the mortuary.
Okay, just let me look up let's look up influences. That would be use of influences.
Let me look here.
And he could do this by phone, and also when he gets back to the hospital. This is kind of like an ambiguous thing, you know, like of doing, but he could probably arrange it fairly quickly. Placing some trait rolls. Okay, so go ahead and give me go ahead and give me a manipulation plus your influence level. And your influence level, your full influence level.
Yeah. Sorry, just looking that up because it's at the bottom of the sheet.
Yeah, no problem.
Right. And one of those is a red?
Yes.
Okay. Five successes.
Okay. 5 successes is more than enough to expedite paperwork and manufacture a reason why you would be taking the corpse for testing. Maybe to experiment on coagulated blood, or maybe you're just basically putting, you're facilitating, you're going to do some tests and then send the body somewhere else that might need to do observation research or hand it off to other people. Regardless, there's enough confusing paperwork out there that you're fairly certain that no one will notice the discrepancy of the body missing. So you're going back to the hospital at this point, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you go back there. You arrive back at St. Peregrine's. Let me go ahead and so you arrive back at St. Peregrine's Hospital or community hospital. And you go downstairs to print off the appropriate paperwork and things like that, and you're sitting in your office without going through the rather long explanation of what it looks like. It's Charlie's laboratory and is down in the second sub-basement. It has some office areas which he's using. It's basically separated into 2 sections with laboratory equipment on one side and blood donation and experimentation and storage equipment on the other. It looks like it has 2 functions, both as the testing for the hospital and also R&D sort of stuff. There's a back sort of like a conference room and some offices in Charlie's office, which you are led into. At this time of night, there is usually one person in here running the tests and things like that. Maybe they'll bring in a couple people during a late shift or something like that, if you have a special meeting or something like that. But that person is currently not there, as probably presumably doing other tasks around the hospital, collecting blood, that sort of stuff. You are sitting in the hospital. You finish your paperwork. You fax it over. So they'll release it to you, and you go down to the morgue. Morgue is there's 2 windows that look into an office with a secure sort of thing where you can basically open and they can take things and hand paperwork and so forth and talk. There's a secured door on the side that's very large to let gurneys through, and then there's a door that leads into the basically where they store the bodies. A very long room with coolers and sorts of things. You hand them the paperwork. and they wheel the body out. It's still in the black body bag. You notice that the report when they will put the gurney through. Here you go. Mr. Allsun. Okay, everything's in order. And they look over the paperwork. Okay. More guy looks really busy, like he's probably doing something else. And he's like, yeah, I haven't had a chance to do an autopsy on this guy yet.
That's fine.
Whatever. He's just gonna find some crazy coke addict. Maybe the guy like fucking ripped somebody's throat out or something. Fucking wackos. Anyway.
Well, he's being donated as a cadaver anyways, so.
Yeah, it's one less I had to deal with. Anyway, yeah.
Take it easy.
And he walks into the room, eating a sandwich, picks up a drill, walks up to the body that's kind of splayed open, and Farmer's like, all right. And he looks like he's talking. He's like, like while he's eating a sandwich. What do you do with the body?
I'm going to take it out to the loading area.
Sure. Which is clear now. There's a loading dock. There's not a the entrance, the human entrance, like the door and stuff, is blocked because of construction. It was not built here when the hospital was built here, so all the exits are not probably up to standard. Something that the staff usually routinely complains about because it's an old building. But there is the loading dock and area, so you take it there.
So yeah, I'll take it down there, and then I will send Lillith a quick text chatty saying where I'm at, and that it's ready for pickup.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see who is parked out in front of the hospital right now of my coworkers that would have an available ambulance.
Hold on, before Lillith, if I could ask, before Lillith goes off for the ambulance, Hannibal will point out, wouldn't it be less conspicuous if we transported the body in like a coroner van or something? Is that something that you could get access to? Because an ambulance is going to draw attention, plus like aren't people using them currently, right? So then more questions are asked.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't have access to coroner van at all.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And plus, gurneys with people on them get transported by ambulance all the time.
Yeah,
so
but usually towards a hospital, not away from it.
Well, they take them to other places too. People that are committed that need some kind of specialist, they take people places.
They take bodies to mortuary, stuff like that.
In ambulances?
Sometimes.
If they're declared a code blue on the way, then they typically do take them straight there.
Okay, then let me say this in another way. It might be really weird to drive an ambulance up to the Red Queen's meeting spot. That may draw attention.
Why would we bring...
Because the Red Queen said she wanted the body.
Oh, she wanted the body there. Never mind.
She wants the body.
Well, I guess we're going to have to put it in your trunk.
Well, I mean, we could get a van. I mean, that's not too hard or anything.
I don't have access to a van. I don't even know how to get a van. I have, like, bad credit.
Is there a spare equipment van down there?
Are we gonna steal a van?
You could requisition a vehicle that the hospital owns and uses. Yes, for transporting things. That is possible. And it actually, like, since you probably have I would say you have one. You have a vehicle because you would have to transport blood supplies to various places, and that would require a vehicle. So yes, you have a vehicle that is company use. It does have your logo on it, and with the logo of your company and that sort of thing. It stands out a little bit, but yes.
So,
all right.
Do I need to break into a van and hotwire it?
No,
like I can do that. If
no. We'll use mine.
Oh, we'll use your van. You have a van?
Yes. We'll... Lillith, Herkermer, and you wait here. I will go retrieve the van. So, I will go and get the van and bring it around.
We'll put the body in the back of the van once he arrives, etc.
Okay, so you bring the van around. You're going to load it in there. You hear some clacking of heels behind you as you're putting the body in. You manage to close the door and everything like that. Like, so, you know, like when you start hearing it, you definitely put the body in and close it. But you see a figure of Emily coming through. He's like, oh, Mr. Allsun, sorry, oh, hi. And she kind of waves to you, Hannibal, because you're there as well, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Just to be, because the positions. Okay. So Lillith is there, and is Herkermer there as well? No. Okay. So
Where did Herkermer go?
Because he's just waiting for the body to come out of the hospital now.
So you're waiting outside the hospital, like while the van gets set, so you can get in, like playing lookout or something. Is that what I?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Okay. Anyway, so you hear, you see a figure, fairly short, dark curly hair, wire rimmed glasses. You recognize the figure, Lillith, as Emily. She's like, and she comes out. She's like, "Oh, Mr. Allsun," and she looks over at Hannibal. And she's like, "Oh, hi, Lillith. Hi. This is strange. Mr. Allsun, I just want to let you know the tomorrow night's reports on the cooling temperatures. One of the shelving units, the new shelving units, experienced a failure. So we're probably going to lose samples like F through D, or sorry, D through F. Apologize. So I just wanted to let you know, when you see the report, it was after I took the inventory, and so we could change it later on. That's not a problem. I just didn't want you to see that, and so yeah.
Well, we can include that in the inventory report.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to let you know. Hi Lillith. I don't expect to see. You're busy. I got some lab equipment to tune. Call me. Like, we should like go do a girls' night or something.
Okay.
All right. Bye. And she
Have a great night, Emily.
She kind of clicks off, like, and she takes her like clipboard and she's like erasing numbers, you know.
She carries her clipboard with her outside.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if she did not sleep with that clipboard.
Yeah,
I don't think you pay that girl enough.
I don't pay that girl enough.
So now the body's in the van. It's kind of a tight squeeze in between the because normally it's designed for carrying containers, like metal containers, in a cooling thing. So, but you do manage to fit it into the back. Did manage to fit it into the back, and you're in the van. I'm assuming leaving, or do you guys? Yeah, okay.
We'll go pick up. We'll have Herkermer follow in my car. How about that?
Sure. Okay.
If that works for him. Cool.
So I'll message Herkermer and let him know that we're coming out and which van to look for to follow.
All right.
And then we will head out to deliver.
Did the Red Queen give us a number to contact her at, or did we just give her a number to contact us at?
She gave us a burner number to call.
It was an exchange.
Okay, so we should call that number and ask where she wants the body then. Yeah. If we're bringing it back to the gathering or if we're taking it somewhere else, just in case.
You get a text back that says down the street, 8th and Water Street. There's a old telephone shop. abandoned. Come in the back. There's an alleyway.
Okay.
Okay, we're heading there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys arrive at the location. It's basically just like a large brownstone sort of buildings, old, kind of sitting on a hill. Water Street seems to basically just end at this, Fraser. So you hit the 8th and you go up, and then Water Street kind of just stops and it turns into another street. But before you hit the end of the road, there's a telephone shop. Of course, Herkermer, you recognize the neighborhood as very close to the alleyway that you live in. Although the alleyway you're making delivery is a different one. You pull up kind of this like narrow windowed telephone shop, or like basically storefront with like little grading fence, chain link fence over the front of it, with some boards, and it says TJ's telephone repair. And yes.
When we get onto Water Street, I'm gonna actually have mentioned something about that to Martin. I was gonna be like, "Didn't you say you lived over here or something?"
You mean Herkermer?
Yeah, Herkermer. Sorry, Herkermer.
Yeah, actually, I live right there. As we pass by a building, on the street as we're driving.
You live in that building?
Well, a little bit, kind of like more in the back, and kind of dip through a fence, and then you wind up in the back of another building, and then I live in one of the back stock rooms of that building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is my stomping ground. You're in here.
Seems like it.
So you pull up. By the way, when you were passing, you did notice that there was a narrow, wide enough to fit a car or so, but it looked like it expanded after its initial entrance, alleyway that led behind the building. You don't know where. You don't get, like, when you're driving down a block, you can look down an alleyway and see the next street over, and you get kind of a sense of where you're at. You don't really have a sense when you pass this. So it looks like it just disappears into a mesh of buildings and urban decay. You pull up, however, and there's a large individual known as Joker with a biker jacket, and he's like, "Bring it on in."
We'll carry it in.
He helps you carry the body in if you need assistance or anything, or if you just carry it in yourself. He just walks back. There's a small door he basically kicks open. It looks like the door was busted open a long time ago. This is kind of just sitting there, teetering in its form. You walk into this abandoned room, shop. It looks like it's squatters live here. Like you see mattresses and crack addict or crack pipes and all the things that indicate a urban decay and living life on the street. You see underneath, or right next to the same small electric lantern, you see the Red Queen. It's like, "You're here, Alice." She's like, "Okay. Show me."
I said we set it down. I thought the motion would be enough, but
Oh.
I'll walk over and unzip it.
She takes a look, and you see, as you open up, you notice how easy it was to confuse the state of being, because it looks like the entire surface of his flesh is withered away. You see the interior, his bones are very pronounced, and on the front he's withered and decay. You notice he's curled up slightly. The center of his torso seems burned, as though it an acid or something ate its way out of him. But there is a structure there. He doesn't look, upon very close examination, you don't think that he's in torpor, Hannibal, or you don't think that he's in final death. You think he definitely is in torpor. He just looks as severely damaged and severely decayed enough to mistake his final moments for sleep. Or sleep for final moments. So Alice looks him over. Is like, Grayson? The fuck is? This is fucking Grayson. Huh. Okay. Good job. Good job. Well, answers who it was, but why was he? Huh. This is one of a good friend of ours, Nolan. It's one of Nolan's buddies. I don't know why he would be hungry. They usually take care of their own pretty good. Huh. I'd be interested to know why.
Well, if he's only in torpor, one could just wake him up and ask him.
No, he's old. Thick. And blood. Fucking stupid piece of shit. Fucking elder. I never liked Grayson. Now I gotta clean up his fucking shit. Maybe Dutch will wake him up. I'll have to talk to him. I'll let you know what I find. Because if he was pissing on your patch, then you have dues. That's the way it works. But you'd have to take it up. You'd have to take it up with Nolan.
If we can help any further, let us know.
Things are a little different here, Charlie. We take care of your crew first. Don't piss me off. If I need something, I'll tell you. But you shouldn't be trying to placate me. They called me the Red Queen because it was a fucking joke. Well, guess what? I'm laughing at them now because I owned that joke. So yeah, I call myself the Red Queen now. And as long as I'm the meanest motherfucker out here, joke's on them.
Well, no one ever offered any help in the tower, so that being as it is, I refuse to be like them. To be different, I'll offer my help to anyone and any place that I can.
Good. There's a lot of people around here who used to believe. It's dead and gone. Maybe it'll come back someday. I don't know. I don't give a shit. But it's definitely helpful. I wouldn't get pissed off at Nolan. He sounds like the type of person who you may be able to help.
Should we bring this this guy by Nolan?
No, I'm gonna keep him, I think, until Dutch. Unless you want to keep him. I mean, I don't know. You have a hospital. Maybe keep him at the hospital would be safer. I was just gonna stick him in a trunk.
I think that seems like a better idea. He's already woken up from torpor once and attacked people.
He woke up from torpor. Oh, yeah, that's right. You were saying. I think maybe he was faking it.
He may have been.
Huh.
Either way, this guy's pissed in your Cheerios, not mine.
Well, see, that's where you get it wrong. That's your patch. I am the arbiter. I'm the one who keeps you in line, but that ain't my fucking territory. It's never going to be my territory. We're not the fucking Cam. There's people around here who used to believe in that shit.
People running around pissing on other people's patches, that's what gets them in trouble, right?
Yes.
With you.
Openly.
So this guy ran around openly pissing on our patch. That makes it your problem, right? I'm a fast learner. I come from the tower. But I adapt. Get used to it.
Well, get used to this, Charlie. There's only one big difference, and that difference can change at any moment between us and the tower. Unlike the tower, I don't give a shit who throws you out into this world. And despite the fact that I hate that bitch, I'm going to give you a chance. But if you're going to talk to me like that, you better come at me fucking hard or I'm going to roll over you. Do you understand that?
Why do you think I'm trying to be so nice?
Good. I like nice. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't have to understand anything. So, I want to give you a chance. Nolan, you got to square up with Nolan. It was kept on the DL. Not everybody made a scene about it. If you disrespect a patch and it's on the DL, I can ignore it. I don't like getting involved. I don't want to get involved. But I will. You square up with Nolan. Be nice to the guy. He's good. I think. Well, none of us are good, but you know what I mean. He'll treat you
You say Nolan's a pal? We'll treat him like a pal.
He's earned his licks. And his marks. He's from the old days. Before all these little bitches moved in, and I had to take care of babysitting them. So, I'll let you know when this guy wakes up. I mean, after all, you're gonna have your due, right? Come on, Grayson. Ah. Got a nice little warm trunk for you. And she walks out. And you are left alone, once again, to your own devices.
Charlie very fastly walks out to the van and gets in the driver's seat without saying a fucking word.
Is Charlie visibly angry or upset, or what's the emotions on his face, or is he controlling his reaction?
He is very much controlling his reaction.
Okay, so he's controlling some sort of reaction that the others would see. Okay. How does Lilith respond to that?
Lilith is kind of standing there and watches him walk off and kind of looks at Hannibal and Herkermer and follows eventually Charlie out. Awkwardly.
Herkermer walks out kind of giggling under his breath from watching what just happened.
Hannibal?
Just follows the rest out.
So you find yourselves in your vehicle once again. What are we doing? You guys sitting or find a moment where Charlie is now containing his reaction much better after a moment. The car gets started and you have that kind of awkward moment of like, where are we going to go and what are we going to do conversation. So.
Well, I need to return the vehicle, so I will convey that I need to take it back to the hospital unless we have any other shenanigans that require a stabbing wagon, if you will.
Well, we do have to find Cole, don't we?
Oh, that is right.
You should probably take the van back.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll take the van back and then go forward from there.
Does Herkermer do anything? While because guys are driving away from Water Street.
Herkermer will make sure to give his number to everybody, just in case, something happens. I can meet up with y'all. But I gotta stay here real quick and look after the youngins.
Okay.
So I'm pretty close to home, so I'm gonna leave all the vehicles to the other people, and I'm just gonna go basically go home to check up on everyone.
Okay.
The fuck are youngins?
Youngins. Young people.
Okay.
Yeah, youngins.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Herkermer exits the vehicle and goes back to his neighborhood, which we'll get back to in one moment. Let's first continue with the van ride. Does anything take place? Any conversation take place on the van ride home?
I don't. Oh. So what did you think you were going to get out of that, Charlie?
I'm not used to the games. I was kept out of them. Now I'm seeing why Helen was so composed. She had to be.
I don't know who Helen is, but
I suppose it doesn't matter now. But
Helen is his sire. Really the only kindred he's interacted with at much length.
Sire's the person that bit you, right?
Sire's the person that made you a vampire, yes.
she made me to save me from other individuals who were scheming.
And now everybody wants you dead.
It seems so.
That's rough.
And no matter how hard I try, I can't please anyone. Friends are hard to come by. And the only people who really have positive interactions with me are... well, they're still able to taste a steak or a nice expensive wine.
You guys drive back to the hospital, and when you guys arrive, pulling the van down, you get out and you notice as you're putting the keys back in the office, as it were, when you guys come walking up to the office door. You notice in the sort of waiting room area that they have, like they don't really have a room per se. They just have like this little sort of divot into the out of the hallway wall with a couple chairs and a little like receiving window. But you notice a woman. She is 6 foot tall. She has black hair. She is dressed in a sort of like a pantsuit jacket sort of thing, very business attire. You've seen her once, Charlie. You recognize her as Leanna Osborne. And she gets up as she sees you coming out. She's like sitting there swiping on a phone, and then she puts it down, puts it back into her little like sort of purse briefcase that she's carrying with her. Gets up. Charlie?
Leanna?
Who are your friends?
Well, this is Lillith. She's an EMT. And this is Hannibal, my private security.
I'm a paramedic.
Could we talk inside? It's not safe here. Cameras, such.
Sure.
She gestures for you to open the door, and you go in. The lab side is closed. You see Emily. She's off in the blood storage side, fiddling with storage units and trying to put stuff back in. But she just waves at you, and then she goes back to working. Lana turns to you. What happened to you?
What do you mean?
You called Helen, and then your phone went dark.
I was tracked to a location. I was outnumbered and outgunned.
And you're making friends, I see.
Well, I had to do something.
Yeah, no, that's quite all right. As this is honestly a mess. Helen should have known better. We won't talk about family secrets here. And she pulls out a file. Here's everything you need. Your haven arrangements, which but everything else that was arranged over for you. I have friends who will make sure that I can keep an eye on you if you need me. I just wanted to let you know that because Helen can't leave, I'm the next best thing you have for the time being.
Is there a way that I'll be able to establish a connection? Communicate?
No. Your call was... She really shouldn't use phones. Don't use phones. If you call her and the prince finds out about it, then you can use your mortal life, keep your normal, Facebooks and things like that. That's fine. But
who the fuck are you?
I'm Leanna Osborne, and I am the person who's going to be responsible for Charlie, or helping Charlie.
Okay.
Who are you, Mr. No name? That's a good friend there you have.
I've already been introduced to you.
As I said, he's my personal security.
Interesting security.
Are
Interesting
you
times.
a relation of Mr. Allsun's?
Of a sense, yes.
Okay.
She scrutinizes you for a moment, and you can tell that perhaps she's using beyond Ken normal senses to kind of assess you
Sure.
and your nature. I'm Helen's coterie mate.
Oh, I see.
And when she was Primogen, before Charlie was banished, I was her whip.
I see. Okay. My apologies for butting in there. I didn't understand the connection here. I thought you were a random kindred walking into my territory.
Well, my presence here has been paid for.
Okay. I'll leave you to it. And Hannibal will walk a few steps away, giving them space to talk.
Have you secured territory here, Charlie? Have you met, what's she calling herself? The rebel, Alice.
The Red Queen.
Is that what she's calling herself? Oh, that's interesting.
I have it on good authority that that was a nickname given to her by people who would have chosen to use it as a negative moniker.
They all try to play themselves up around here on this side of the river. I wouldn't pay any attention to it. Just go dig your well and try to secure as many connections. There's many individuals on this side of the river that you could work with that were former, well, their allegiances are a little different now that there's been changes in regime in the last 10 years. So, yeah, if you need anything,
I would take it under advisement from you or Helen to determine individuals best suited to be partnered with.
make that decision yourself. You're a fucking Ventru. Act like it. Sorry. You're Helen's Ventru, and she has already paid a lot for her own decisions and her own mistakes. I'm here to help guide you, so if you need advice, but you make your own decisions, Charlie. The moment you realize that, the moment you can reclaim and live up to your lineage.
I don't think that that prince will ever let me reclaim anything.
Let us see about that. Things change, and so do princes. Well, I am going to go now. My time here is limited, and the person who escorted me doesn't want to tarry. So, check in every once in a while. That's a voicemail service. Do not discuss secrets. I will have, either if I cannot go myself, I will have a courier to deliver a personal written message. And we will be...
Bye, Lana.
She turns around and walks out.
It was nice meeting you.
Mm-hmm. She said... She just walks out. So, for the last scene of the night, we go to Herkermer.
Oh, hold up. There was a thing.
Oh, you want to do a
that
thing?
needed to happen.
Okay, yeah, so let's...
Immediately after. And she is out of earshot, out of sight. Charlie will just pummel the fucking side of the van.
I have to go punch a pillow. All right. So
That is all.
Okay. So Charlie takes out his frustration. You're inside the lab, so the van's not accessible, but like you could find something that you could destroy very easily and replace. Like the copy machine. You take it out on the copy machine.
I just imagine Charlie looks over and grabs a pillow and he's just like, ah, like just screaming into it, you know?
Cue rap music, and he's just like goes at it with the, you know. Anyway, so we bring it back to Herkermer. Herkermer, you walk in through the alleyway. Because you had left your car at Lillith's place, your car's not parked there. You notice the familiar presence of Uncle Thomas. He's like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, there he is.
Hey, Tom.
Got a match?"
Well, yeah, I got one around here somewhere. Pull out a lighter. Light whatever he needs.
He takes out a cigarette rolled, undoubtedly from other picked butts and things out of ashtrays. In case because I didn't get a chance to describe him, he's a short, old, very old, pale-skinned man with sort of cropped hair, and he looks like the dude out of like Rocky. I can't remember the coach's name. A bad Rocky fan, but he's like, hey, yeah, it's
Mick.
Mick, yeah, he looks like Mick.
Yeah,
and he's like,
call me Mick.
Yeah, youngins.
They getting up to it tonight?
I don't know. They're just in there doing their stuff, I just gave me a little bit of sip of whiskey. But we just keep it warm. It's always coming down. It's pissing on me, man. That's what we tell you. I'm gonna have to bunk with them, I say.
Yeah, well, if it's a matter of you staying dry, yeah, bunk with them.
That's okay. You gotta catch your death. You gotta take care of yourself, Herkermer. You don't want to catch your death out in this. I seen a guy. Don't do it.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I ain't gonna catch my death out here.
Oh, I just gotta light you one of these. He goes the barrel fire. He's just like, Okay, what are you doing? What are you doing, Herkermer?
Basically just the normal nighttime thing of just helping people around town. I'm basically waiting to get a call for when we're gonna go do the next thing. Okay, so you're just gonna basically walk around. You notice that doing the rounds, make sure that some people are taken care of. Help fix people's tents and setups, and the shelters that they're erecting. Some people have difficulties doing it because they're very obviously either newly on the street. And Water Street community generally accepts new people. People come here and they can find a place of home, of community. So you go around and help people with the shelters. There's several abandoned buildings. You basically hey, if you walk over here and you go in here, you can stay dry. People start at one point in the evening, start collecting food and other things together in one of the sort of propped up shelters that they've made out of tin roofing and things like that found around. You notice that gather around it. Doobie, one of the younglings. Now the younglings are a gang of they say young is relative. They range from basically early to 20, 21, 22, 19 as young. I think it's the youngest they would ever have, but they're all adults, and they're kind of either a collection of runaways that have lived on the street for a very long time, or individuals who moved out on their own and just were forced into circumstances beyond their control and to environment of extreme poverty, and they've gathered here to sort of protect the neighborhood. They kind of act as, and you see Doobie, the leader. Hey, what's up? Hey, Herkermer. What's up, man? You off tonight? Where's your car, bro? Unexpected deliveries left my car somewhere else. I'll be going to collect that tomorrow, I think, unless I can find time to do it tonight. I just wanted to stop on by and see how things is going. Oh, yeah, that weirdo Desmond was around, dude. He was just totally
I don't like that dude, man. He's creepy.
Yeah, he's creepy, but
He
ain't gonna hurt nobody.
He's trying to get me to like do something like smoke the rock or something. I don't fucking know. Hey, you know, I got these.
It's just Desmond.
Hey, dude, like, you know, we got these. Yeah, because everybody's like cold and shit. We got these heating pads we stole. You know,
All right.
for people, like, so people can have heating pads. Yeah, we found this outfitting store.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, is there enough for everybody, or do you have extras?
There's not that many, but like, you know, you got. I mean, I figured you would know best who to distribute them out to. You know, you always good like that, right?
All right. Well, I'd say you can just use your judgment, but let's go do that, huh?
Okay. So you go off. Okay.
Yeah.
So you go off with Doobie and several of the other younglings, as they have themselves, street gang, which started as a Star Wars joke, because they were kind of trying to put you on about Star Wars. You know, like they were obsessed with it after the first time you showed them, but then they kind of just adopted the name themselves. You go and gather with them, 5 of them. They're not a very large gang. And members can float in and out, and they grab some of the boxes that look very obviously stolen from like outfitters, just like, you know, city outfitter, you know, like, or country outfitter or something. You know, it's look like a gear store, and they take out these hand warming pads and heating blankets, like survival sort of like space blanket sort of things, and they start, it's like distributing them out. And well, I think that's where we're gonna leave it tonight.